Hello everyone, my name is Joe DeCarlos and I'm one of the Temoa developers. And what I want to show you in this video is how to create the software environment you're going to need in order to run Temoa. There's a lot of different software elements involved, and rather than having to install them one by one, we can actually do this automatically via an environment file. And I'm just going to walk you through the steps to do that. So first of all, I'm on the Temoa Cloud main website. And I'm going to go to the download page, and I'm basically just going to be following along with the directions that are shown here. So the prerequisite for in creating the environment is you have to have Python installed. And I recommend installing it via Anaconda if you haven't already. Anaconda is well-known Python distribution that includes a lot of the common packages, and we'll install our environment for Temoa within Anaconda. So once you have Anaconda installed, the next step is going to be to download the environment.yaml file. So if you go to the Temoa GitHub repository, this is a list of all the files, and you'll see some subdirectories here. But the top level folder, you'll see this environment.yaml file. And this shows you all of the software dependencies. These are basically all of the different software elements we need in order to be able to run Temoa. You'll see that in some cases there are specific version numbers, for example, with Python and Pyomo, and we know these versions to work with Temoa, and so we can specify that in the environment file to ensure that it works. So what you're going to do is take the contents of this, just do basically a copy paste into a text file, and then save the text file as an environment.yaml file, just like you see it here. Okay, and you're going to want to put that environment.yaml file in a folder where you're going to store your software environments. So I'm going to call up my shell. I work on a Mac, and so I'm using terminal. If you're on Linux, then obviously you know to use your shell, and if you're on Windows, then you're going to want to use the Anaconda shell. Okay, and first thing I'm going to do is just navigate to the folder, and I'm just going to use the location where Anaconda stores the environment. So it's Anaconda 3, and there's a folder called environments. Okay, I'm going to do an ls here, and the one that we're going to create right now is just called Temoa-Py3. So I've created that folder, and then I'm going to cd into it. I'm going to do an ls, and there you go. You see the environment file. So the contents of this file is just what I showed you from GitHub. Okay, so now if we go back to the website here, what we're going to do is issue this command from that folder, conda env create. So that's what I'm going to do, conda env create. Click enter, and then you'll see that the environment is being installed. And this step can take some time. It might take several minutes, so be patient with it. One thing I will point out is if you are a Windows user, one of the solvers that we use that's free is CoinCBC. And on Windows machines, you can't install CoinCBC via Conda. And so if it fails with an error, just remove this CoinCBC from the environment file, and then it should work. If you want to use that solver, then you'll need to install it separately. You just can't do it via Conda. Now, that does bring up a point, which is that in order to run Temoa, you need a solver. So if you install with the environment file, what you're going to get is this CoinCBC solver. There's another one called GLPK. These are both freely available solvers, and they work pretty well for small models. But if you're trying to solve larger databases with Temoa, then you might want to consider a commercial solver like Gurobi or Cplex. And those are commercial solvers, so I can't include them in the environment file. But if you're at an academic institution, you should be able to get a free academic license in order to install those. So the commercial solvers would need to be installed separately from this environment. While we're waiting on this, I also want to go and just talk a little bit about our repo. So what we're doing is installing the software environment that we need in order to run Temoa. But if you actually want the model itself, you have two options. One is you can do it via GitHub. So if you have Git installed on your machine, you can clone our repository, and you would simply do that by saying git clone and then give it this address. If you don't feel comfortable with GitHub or you've never used it before, then you can simply download the model as a zip file, put it where you'd like to keep it, unzip the zip file, and you'll see the contents. Basically, all of the contents here will be within that folder. And I have a separate video to show you how to run the model once you've downloaded it. Okay, so this on my machine took approximately 5 minutes to create the environment. And when it's all done, you'll see you'll get the prompt back and you'll see the directions on how to activate the environment. What I like to do is just to see what environments I have installed, you do conda info-e. And you can see that in my case, I have 4 different environments installed, and the star indicates the one that's active right now. So if I'm ready to run Temoa and I want to use that environment that we just created, which was Temoa-Pi3, I'm simply just going to say conda activate Temoa-Pi3, and now it's active. And I can confirm that by issuing the conda info-e command again, and you can see now the star is next to Temoa-Pi3. Okay, and that's it. We now have our Temoa environment set up and we're ready to run. Be sure to check out my other videos that show you how to run Temoa from the command line, how to manipulate the input data, and also how to visualize the network diagram that you're trying to model.